Hello guys, and welcome to the full tropical update for May 29th, 2020. And we got a few systems to talk about in the Atlantic and the Eastern Pacific. But first of all, we're going to be talking about Invest 92L here. And it looks like it now has a 50-50 chance of developing into something. A broad area of low pressure appears to be developing over the central Atlantic Ocean several hundred miles east-southeast of Bermuda. This disturbance is producing in large areas showers of thunderstorms and gusty winds. Additional development of the system is possible, and a subtropical depression could form tonight or on Saturday as it moves generally northward. Development is not expected after that time due to unfavorable environmental conditions. The next special advisory will be out at 9 p.m. tonight. As you can see, this is really trying to be a record-breaking storm right here. Even though weak, if this forms, I do not believe we've ever had 3 named storms in May before the season starts. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna look that up right now. Bear with me here. Let's see here. Yep, for the first time. So that's something. It's gonna be in the record books. Let's take a look at the GFS here for the system. Here is the system right here. As you see, there's closed isotherm here. So there's definitely a closed level low there as we speak. And this is valid at 18Z, so that's the few hours from now. So let's go out into time and see what happens with this. 1014 millibars, that is a borderline tropical storm by the looks of it. But as they say, it does not have very long, because within 66 hours it's going to be dissipating all the way. I mean, there's still evidence of something there, but it's not a closed low, as it will be absorbed by the low pressure there. And that'll be it. Now, I'm only going to go 5 days out here, because later on we'll show a potential system that could be infecting the Gulf of Mexico later on down the road. Alright, here is the visible satellite as it loads its imagery. As you can see, it's kind of pretty much a hot mess right now. There's actually a wind shear coming in from the south and west that's kind of blowing these thunderstorms out on the way. So, as the National Weather Hurricane Center said, there's not much time for this to develop. As you can see, there is the spin in the cloud tops here. So there's definitely something trying to develop there, but it doesn't have a whole lot of time. Either it has to become a tropical depression or storm tonight or early tomorrow if it really wants a chance to become something, the third named storm, before the season even starts. But as you can see, these storms are trying to wrap around that center here. But as I said, the wind shear is kind of preventing that a little bit. So we're just gonna have to see what happens with this later on tonight. And I might have another tropical update later this evening, depending on what I have going on at the time. Alright, let's take a look at what is going on in the Eastern Pacific. And this is still a thing. The chances are 60% in 48 days and 70% in 5 days. And if you guys remember, the 5-day percentages used to be 80%, so that's gone down a little bit. But still, don't take your guard down. This actually looks like it's getting itself together, and a tropical depression could form tonight or tomorrow morning, is what I'm thinking. Well, we're gonna read this off for you. Shower and thunderstorm activity has become better organized today in association with a broad area of low pressure located a couple hundred miles south of the coast of Central America and southern Mexico. Environmental conditions appear conducive for a gradual development, and a tropical depression could form this weekend. This disturbance is expected to move slowly northward towards Central America and southern Mexico during the next couple of days. Regardless of development, the system is expected to produce heavy rainfall over portions of southern or Central America and southern Mexico this weekend and early next week. These rains could cause life-threatening flash floods and mudslides, especially in areas of mountainous terrain. See products from your local meteorological service for additional information. 48 hours is 60% and 5 days is 70%. Let's take a look at the GFS for this system right here. As I said, later this evening I'll be looking at other models for you guys. So just my GFS is the go-to for tropical systems. So we're gonna go forward and see what happens here. And lo and behold, let's look. What's that? 1,006 millibars. So it's something that's trying to get together here by tomorrow morning. And there is the system. It looks like it's struggling a little bit until it gets about 5 days out. Then it starts blowing up, and then here in about 6 or 7 days, we're looking at a 963 millibar hurricane. That is a borderline major hurricane, guys. So our first named storm of the season in the Eastern Pacific could be our first major hurricane in the Eastern Pacific. And it generally moves to the north and the west. So I don't think this is the system that we're going to be focusing on. I think the Central American Gyre has different plans for us than having Amanda cross over, but that is just my opinion by the looks of the GFS, which is this is a reasonable forecast going out 7-8 days out. But yeah, that is what is going on with Amanda with the GFS. Let's take a look at the visible satellite. And as you can see, showers and thunderstorm activity are starting to blow up everywhere. And you can literally see the spin in all of the clouds here. Some of this is from the Central American Gyre, some of this is from 91E, and it's just all a scrambled mess. But it looks, as the National Hurricane Center said, this is consolidating and starting to become better organized. So, I don't know. I mean, the GFS shows it struggling for a little bit, but I do believe that by tonight, tomorrow evening, we'll be seeing a tropical depression here. And it's going to be generally moving north, but then as the GFS model shows, it starts to turn north and west. So we're just going to have to wait and find out. And you know, this is an interesting setup, because not only do we have the Central American Gyre, but we got 91E. And speaking of the Gulf storm, I want to take a look at what the GFS future holds for that Gulf storm. So let's go out into future. And as you can see down there, you can see Amanda doing its thing there. And it looks like the southwestern Caribbean is going to be our breeding spot here for this system, or somewhere in the Caribbean. And the GFS has this becoming a 992 tropical storm, 991 tropical storm. So this could become a borderline hurricane before it makes landfall in Mexico. You know, once again, this is 16 days out, so take this with a grain of salt. I just want to show you guys that the GFS is consistently still showing something popping up in the Caribbean or the Gulf of Mexico. And you know, the GFS has been consistently pulling this storm up for the last 2 weeks. But the weird thing is that the time frame keeps on getting pushed back farther and farther. So that's why that this is kind of a unique setup right here. You know, I think at this point you just look at all the time frames, because what are you to trust really? What are you to trust? Because if the storm keeps on being pushed back, keeps on being pushed forward, you just don't know. So that's why I'm looking at the 16-day forecast, you know, just to follow what's going on. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will be back again this evening, hopefully, with another tropical update. Have a nice day.